Hello and a very good evening to all our viewers who are joining me live in this Facebook and YouTube interaction of News 9. And today I will be speaking about how to reduce the strain that your eye endures while you continue to stare at screens for long hours. Well, COVID-19 has undoubtedly brought about a transitional change in the lives of the people across the globe, and working from home is now the new normal. Gone are those days when people would, gather around conference tables for a meeting. And ever since the outbreak of COVID-19, people have resorted to work from home. And this new regime has certainly taken a toll on the well-being of the people. Well, life has, literally gone almost entirely virtual since lockdown started. People who used to see their overly chatty co-workers IRL spend an average of 9.5 hours a day looking at laptops and even smartphones. So reports have suggested that a survey conducted by OnePoll, it takes just 2 consecutive hours of staring at pixelated Zoom faces or scrolling Excel data to put your eye at risk for eye strain, dryness, blurred vision, and also headaches, according to this particular survey. So now, in order to break down and also understand what kind of stress the eye endures, we have with us Dr. Bhujang Shetty, who is also the chairman of Narayana Netralaya and also an eye surgeon. Many thanks for joining me in this live interaction, Dr. Bhujang Shetty. And my first question to you today is, what is the kind of stress that the eye endures in the current scenario, given the fact that people are working from home and are staring at the screen for long hours?
Oh, thanks for having me, Deepak. Happy to be on News 9.
Yes, sir.
Well, as you said earlier, things have rapidly changed in the last few months because of COVID. And of course, people were working in front of the system even before, those people who work from morning to evening in front of the computers. But now, because of work from home, and moreover, even children, because of online classes, definitely the hours that they spend in front of the screen has shot up. And with that, a lot of issues come when you sit in front of the screen for long hours. We call it, it's a professional hazard, as it were. And the typical problem with the long hours in front of the screen is called, as far as the eye is concerned, computer vision syndrome.
Okay.
Actually, this really didn't exist when I was studying, maybe about 35 years back. But this was coined recently because after the excessive use of computers day in and day out. So there is a problem, a disease called computer vision syndrome. And this we are seeing more and more because people are working for long hours in front of these digital devices. And especially now because of children having online classes. So they also suffer from what's called computer vision syndrome.
So also, doctor, now how can a person who spends long hours in front of the screen get some respite from the strain that the eye, endures during that particular period of time?
Yeah. Well, actually, there are certain measures that we can take to reduce the strain on our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing is, appropriate posture, because you're going to sit for long hours in front of the monitor. You need to, sit on a proper chair with a proper, position,
Mm-hmm.
not, in odd positions, because long hours put a lot of stress on the muscles and the bones. And also the level of the monitor must be just about below the level of your eyes. And the distance also matters. Usually we say about 40 centimeters would be ideal. Of course, it depends on the size of the monitor.
Right.
But then most important is how you use your eyes while working on these digital devices for long hours.
Mm-hmm.
See, what happens actually is these when we keep on staring at the computer screen or system, the tendency of the eye to blink decreases. Actually, all our eyes, and we all unconsciously blink on an average 15 times every minute. It happens simultaneously without our knowledge. But unfortunately, people who work in front of these monitors, this blink frequency comes down to almost half. Some people blink less than 6 to 7 times a minute when they are on these monitors. So this causes a lot of stress and strain on the eyes. The eyes get dry. The people, experience headache, redness, watering, and all these issues come because the blink frequency decreases. So what first thing they have to do is become little more conscious about their blinking, and if necessary they need to blink consciously a few times so that they don't forget to blink, because blinking for the eye is as much as or as good as oxygen for our lungs.
Right.
Actually, every time we blink, the oxygen, the eye gets its nutrient and oxygen when we blink, and if we stop blinking, the eye is under terrible stress. So this is one of the first things that they have to see, that the blinking rate should not come down. And the second most important thing is we need to give a break. See, when we constantly look at one point on the screen for a long time, then one set of muscles get stressed. So we say you should follow what's called the 20-20-20 rule. What does that mean? That means for every 20 minutes, you need to take a break from the screen. Take your eyes off the screen and look at something 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds. So when you give this eyes a break, that's the time that set of muscles that have been working all along, they get some time to relax. And then again, after 20 to 30 seconds, you can work on them. So people who work for long hours should and must follow this 20-20-20 rule that will relax the eyes.
Also, doctor, apart from that, are there any drills or exercises which people can do to improve their vision? And if there are any, could you please demonstrate it for us?
See, actually, there are no particular eye exercises as such.
Okay.
But the whole problem is we have to make sure the eyes are under working under normal conditions. That is, your lighting must be good. As I told you, position must be proper. And most important is the eye should not have any type of a refractive error. That means a glass defect. Say, for example, you have a glass defect, you are not aware, you have not tested, and then you are using your computers for long hours. Then automatically the eye is under strain. So you should have periodic eye examination and make sure that if there is any glass defect, you should get yourself the proper glasses and wear it regularly as advised by the doctor. And once you get these glasses, you need to check your eyes at least once every year. And especially in children, this is extremely important. What we recommend today is that these children, before joining school itself, they need to get their eyes tested, even if the parents don't find any problem with their sight. Because sometimes the parents can't make out, even the child can't make out. There could be some big defect in one eye and the other eye could be seeing well. All these problems, if detected early, especially when the child is around 5-6 years old, it can be corrected at that age. If it is not corrected and somehow not detected at that age, maybe after when you are 15-20 years or when you are looking out for a job, you go to test your eyes, you may find that actually in one eye you are not at all seeing, and you have managed all your life with just one good eye. And the eye that has not been seeing for all these 15-20 years, we call it a lazy eye. At that stage, we will not be able to correct it. So, but if caught young, maybe 5, 6, 7, when the child was, then we could definitely have corrected that problem, and that eye would have grown normally and it won't become a lazy eye.
Also, doctor, now that people are now working from homes, do you think the environment that they're working in, like suppose at work, when they used to go to office, the lighting that they had was at a large scale, but when they're working from home, the lighting is in the very minimal state. So do you think the environment plays a role while impacting the
Yes.
vision of the person?
Yes, definitely. As I told you, first is posture. Exactly, your in offices you have ideal seating places, chairs and table at the proper height and all this. At home, sometimes we make some makeshift arrangements, so that could cause a lot of stress and strain on your muscles and your bones, leading to back pain, headache, and all those things. Lighting is actually also very important. In a home, we just have some general lighting. In offices, usually they have better lighting and more scientifically designed lighting, which we sometimes miss when we are at home. These things definitely need to be corrected, even if you're working from home, because you're almost spending 8 to 10 hours on the monitor, and you cannot afford to be in a wrong position for such long hours. You definitely land up with trouble.
So, doctor, do attachable anti-glare filters, help as a buffer against blue light and stop, ambient light from reflecting off the computer screens?
Yeah, that's true. This anti-glare and anti-blue light filters are relatively they are good because there's some amount of blue light emitted from all these devices which is not good for the eyes. If you can cut it off with these blue light filters and if you can use an anti-glare coating for your glasses, definitely this will go a long way in taking away the stress and strain on your eyes. Sure.
So, doctor, my last question is, now that even kids are, forced to stay at home and look into the screens for long hours, what is your message to the parents instead of the kids? Because no matter what you tell the kids, they wouldn't let go of that habit. So, what would you suggest or recommend the parents to do?
Yeah, I would suggest that parents must definitely monitor what their kids are doing. It's very important. Just should not give them some device, even if it's a phone, they'll play whole day, even if it's a laptop, just they have to be monitored because the time they spend in front of these digital devices is extremely important. One thing recommended is that children below 2 years should not be given any of these devices. We notice that whenever a child cries, even if it's 1 year old, you put some cartoon on this your phone and give to the child. It's not good. So up to 2 years, we do not recommend. And usually after 2 years, even if you have to give, especially now, even kindergarten children have online classes. Let it be restricted. We usually advise that not more than 2 hours should be spent in front of the screen. That's a thing that parents should know and must follow. And the unfortunate thing is now the online classes are there, so they spend 1 or 2 hours in front of this monitor, and then right after that they jump onto the phone to see some cartoons and play some games. This is exactly what's happening. And since the children become very quiet when they are given these devices, parents are also happy to give to them so that they don't disturb their parents. So this is a very bad thing to do. So we have to encourage children to play outdoors. Is extremely important. See, with these, of course, now the lockdown and even otherwise, children are their outdoor activities have come down in the just not in the last 6 months, but in the last maybe decade or so, because children are happy. When we were children, we used to spend so much time outside playing that our parents used to force us and beat us to come inside and do your homework. Today it's the other way around. Parents have to chase the children outside to play outdoors. Outdoor activity is extremely important for children because with that you get your regular exercises, you get vitamin D, and it's very important even for your eye health because it's been noticed that children who play at least for an hour or so outdoor every day have a less chance of getting what's called short sight or myopia, or even if they get this myopia, the chances of increasing is little less than when they spending all the time indoor, either reading or watching the TV or their phone.
Right, doctor, it was really fun, going down the memory lane. And also thank you for your valuable insights, because a lot of people are watching this, and we hope that, the parents and also those working from home inculcate these tips in order to avoid the strain on their eyesight, especially when they're working for long hours in front of the screens, because eyesight is very important. And although COVID-19 has, given you the chance to stay at home, the bargain is good, but the price that you will have to pay while looking at the screens for really long time is very high. So in order to avoid that, please inculcate all the tips that Dr. Bhujang Shetty mentioned just now. And with that, it's a wrap on this live interaction. Until next time, stay safe and also take care. Thank you for watching.